Greetings, greetings. Something that happened and it knocked us out of the whole show. But you all that are out there, you can come back on over here. We're going to get it back cracking again. I got Eric Mass Scientist on the other line. And we're yeah. Yeah, I just sent you the link. Yeah, you can't get back in because they had cut that whole hookup out. We probably got to pay them. Yeah, I'm live now, so I don't want to discuss that. We haven't paid our bill. No, that wasn't the government getting mad and cutting us off, people. We just didn't pay. And what it was is that was StreamYard didn't get mad and cut us off. They cut it. Yeah, we got right into the right into the core of it, and they cut us right on off. I'm gonna go ahead and play something. Yeah, I already sent you the link. While you doing while you doing that, I'm over here. I'm gonna be setting this up here. Uh, is this what I'm looking for here? Let me take a look at here. What we got here?
This one that claimed that the mark of the beast will definitely be a barcode. But the decade before that was the Cuban Missile Crisis, where a lot of people were sure they were living in the very end time. Visa and MasterCard were made available to the public. In the 1940s, it was Social Security numbers. And at first, this all seems to really devalue the Revelation story. But I think that's the mark of a capital T true story, is that every generation finds a way to see themselves in it. A brief list of everything that Christians have thought was going to be the mark of the beast. This year, the popular theory is that the Palm payment program from Amazon's Whole Foods is going to be the way that the Antichrist from the Bible trolls who can buy and sell things. But it wasn't too long ago that the leading candidate for the mark of the beast was Bitcoin and vaccine passports and RFID chips on cattle. In fact, if we go all the way back to the 1970s, when UPC codes were first starting to be used, definitely be a barcode. But the decade before that was the missile crisis, where a lot of people were sure they were living in the very end time. So you can imagine their horror when Visa and MasterCard were made available to the public. In the 1940s, it was Social Security numbers. And at first, this all seems to really in it. A brief list of everything that Christians have thought was going to be the mark of the beast. This year, the popular theory is that the Palm payment program from Amazon's Whole Foods is going to be the way that the Antichrist from the Bible controls who can buy and sell things. But it wasn't too long ago that the leading candidate for the mark of the beast was Bitcoin and vaccine passports and RFID chips on cattle. In fact, if we go all the way back to the 1970s, when UPC codes were first starting to be used, there were a lot of pamphlets like this one that claim that the mark of the beast will definitely be a barcode, but very in time. So you can imagine their horror when Visa and MasterCard were made available to the public. And the 19 value the Revelation story. But I think that's the mark of a capital T tree, is that every generation finds a way to see themselves in it. A brief list of everything that Christians have thought was is that the Palm payment program from Amazon's Whole Foods is going to be the way that the Antichrist from the Bible controls who can buy and sell things. But it wasn't too long ago that the leading candidate
I don't know what's going on. Peace, Vicar Emerson World. I don't know what the hell is going on. I keep getting keep getting knocked out of the show. Try resetting your Wi-Fi center or hub. Oh, okay. I don't know how to do that. And I just got rid of that, but that was recorded and that was good. Let me try to share this information here. I do reserve the right to use these clips for entertainment and or educational purposes and critiquing purposes. For that, we are going to be educated, we're going to be entertained, and we are going to critique this information.
Where that? Doing a video from the reality blog. I came across this blog from an article on, I believe it was Rinsom, and it's a very good blog, the reality blog. And the explanation in this article is on target. It's exactly what the Antichrist is. The Antichrist isn't an individual; it's a government, and this will tell you why it's the government. Social Security, the international mark of the beast, the global social security system. And this is how it goes. Did you know that over 130 countries in the world now have a social security insurance program? But you didn't. Did you know that Social Security is run and regulated by the United Nations and the World Bank and is issued by the IMF? Probably didn't know that. Have you ever heard of the International Social Security Association, the ISSA? And did you know that the United States Social Security Administration has international treaties and agreements through the United Nations with other countries and their social security systems? Probably not. Well, it's all true. But before we get into that, let's make sure we understand just what this Social Security program really means, being United States or a Social Security number. That's right, you're just a number. It is so much more than what you might think. Social Security, the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is upon all American citizens. And the federal corporation named United is that beast. And the mark of the beast is the number. Understand, we're already under the beast. Misconceptions of biblical prophecy is that the thing referenced in the Bible as the Antichrist, and in so many other fictional tales of said Antichrist, will someday be incarnated as a single living entity, a beast in the guise of a man or a human, that will fool the people of the earth into loving and following that beast into virtual hell and enslavement on earth. But I am here to provide you with an alternative and more realistic view. I am here to say that the biblical Antichrist is already upon us. It is not a single person, but a government run by and consented by the people. It is not a living, breathing human or demon, but instead all humans via their consent to it. It is not the devil reincarnated, but is in fact an incarnated body of legal codes that have created the mark of the beast through the people's ignorance of the laws that they create. And I am here to say that it is not God that will save us from the Antichrist, but only our collective non-consent through non-participation in this system that will save us from ourselves. If it is true that God gave men the gift and the curse of having free will, then it must also be true that God knows. What is the mark of the beast? Well, this is going to surprise you, if not scare the living daylights out of you. In Title 42 of the U.S. Code, entitled Public Health and Welfare, ooh, what a nice sounding name, we can literally find the root of this evil mark from the beast called Social Security. Through Title 42 is not statutory law, but an activity prima facie law, consent of the governed required. The implementation of that legal code is exactly what we'd expect from the beast as the federal United States corporation. Remember, we're under a corporation. So let's have a look at Section 666 of the United States Code, Title 42, the Public Health and Welfare. Nice name for it. Section 666 of the Social Security Act requires every state as federal and insular permissions to obtain a person's number that is attached to the name of that person before such things as a license to work, drive, marry, or any other state services, privileges, not rights, are granted, of which now include federal grants and emoluments to states as revenue sharing for promotion of this enslavement via the number. In other words, a natural-born citizen of the United States of America cannot work in a federal United States jurisdictional territory, the federal United States, without being marked by the Social Security number, the number of the beast.
Wow.
For those of you who don't understand the difference between these two governments and that as citizen you are required to obey both, please read what the Supreme Court opinion of this fact is here. The people in the United States resident within any state are subject to two governments, one state and the other national. But there need be no conflict between the two. The powers which one possesses, the other does not. They are established for different purposes and have separate jurisdictions. Together they make the whole and furnish the people of the United States with a complete government ample for the protection of all their rights, privileges, at home and abroad. True, it may sometimes happen that a person is admirable to both jurisdiction for one and the same act. It is the natural consequences of a citizenship which owes allegiance to two sovereignties and claims protection from both. The citizen cannot complain because he has voluntarily submitted himself to such a form of government. Supreme Court, 92 U.S. 551, U.S. versus Cruikshank. I believe that's how that's pronounced. And behold, I swear unto you, if you will do this with an oath, you shall be destroyed. But if you will not do this, I swear unto you with an oath that on the narrow or marrow month I will command that my armies shall come down against you, and they shall not stay their hand, and shall spare not, but shall slay you, and shall let fall the sword upon you, even until you shall become extinct. Nephi 3:8. While I can choose to not consent to the mark, the Social Security number, the beast has made it virtually impossible to work, drive, spend money, or live legally without this number within the corporate world of jurisdiction of the beast. And as a corporation of any kind, including that of being a person with a number, that business must comply with now established state and federal laws to continue to legally incorporate businesses in the state which is within the federal district of the federal United States, aka the beast. In short, the ability to not consent to this mark is nullified by the beast, though the legal code that makes those without the number unable to support themselves or work without the mark. Does this sound familiar? You will not be able to work, buy, or sell without the mark? Interesting, huh? It's making a lot more sense. Section 666, amazingly enough, they used that number for this, of Title 42 clearly lays out this authority and jurisdiction. Jurisdiction. Excuse me. This is just upsetting because I've known this, but this guy is putting it out in plain English. Though the majority of this code is referring to paternal suits of child support, it is important important to understand that this power can be applied to anyone through such tools as due process or other abusive authorities. To understand the true significance of Section 666, one must understand that through the due process of the Bar Association in the court system, it is the opinion of all courts, municipal and federal district, that you do not own your children alone, and that your children are literally owned by the beast, the state. Yes, that's what a marriage license does. You give ownership over to your children to the state. That's why CPS can take them at any time if they feel, because the marriage allows them to do this. So that there is no doubt of this being true, please review my previous article here. Do you own your children? And you probably will explain this whole thing. And I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but I just wanted to bring this up to show you that, hey, this is what's happening. This is how they did it. This is the entire record of it. I mean, they're giving you all the court cases, everything. You know, there's the subchapter 4, Part D of the 666. Authority to withhold or suspend licenses. Procedure under which the state has and uses in the appropriate cases authority to withhold or suspend or to restrict the use of a driver's license, professional and occupational license, and recreational and sporting licenses of individuals owing overdue support or failing after receiving appropriate notice to comply with subpoenas or warrants relating to paternity or child support proceedings.
Wow.
This is what the Bible will have to say about it.
Wow.
In Revelations. Also, it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy, sell, unless he has the mark. That is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let one who has the understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Then I saw the thrones, and seated on them were those whom the authority to judge was committed. Also I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded, who had not worshipped the beast or its image, and had not received its mark on their forehead or their hands. And what if an employer chooses not to consent to garnishing the wages of their employees for this corrupt system? Does an employer really have a choice? I mean, this is just all here, and all the facts, the court cases. I mean, this is long. That's why I can't go through the whole thing. It would take probably 40 minutes to go through this whole thing, because it's pretty long. Done his homework very, very well. And I would just ask you, hey, look, they're doing all this stuff, DNA testing. Like I said, pretty soon they will put something, a chip in your hand, one of those invisible barcodes on your forehead. They got them. All that technology is there. It's all there. Everything is set up. I'll add one other thing. I think they're pushing Revelations myself. I think they're trying to get it over with. And they're going through this because this is a way that, hey, if we can get this over with and make it look like, the people won, we can go back to what we were doing and bring everything back to where it is now. It's just my thought, only an opinion. But this is, see, garnishment of wages for holding for child support. They're in a marriage license. Credit reporting and suspension of licenses. Oh yeah, if you got bad credit, they can take away now stuff. They're trying to make it so you can't leave the country, take away your passport if you don't pay the Federal Reserve or the IRS. If you don't pay them, they'll just take away your passport. You'll be trapped in the beast. Nowhere to run. There's a website called that. Directory. Enforcement Authority. Just saying, this is what this article is about. I'll leave a link at the bottom of the page for this article. But this is very much what everyone needs to know. And it's from the Reality Blog. And it tells of this famous saying of all truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. And third, it is accepted as being self-evident. Until next time, this is Spellbinder saying, be good at it, and research Social Security numbers and maybe the mark of the beast, which it seems to be. It fits everything. It's just that's how to get you with a number. Now they just need to put the number on your right hand or your forehead. That's the only thing left. And then go to a cashless society, of course. That's the next step. Good day.
All right. Now, how do I get out of there? All right, get back to exit full screen. No, I ain't got to exit full screen. But what I do want to do is I'm have to exit full screen so I can get finish in the series. All right, got that out of there. There's some good information. I've been knowing, like my man said, he said he's been knowing this stuff for years. I've been knowing this stuff for years. When I was into Christianity, and I was teaching Christianity pretty hard, I had came across that information. Let me try to find some set this up for my next slide. Peace to the chat. We got Emma Vicus and World in the house. We got Indigenous Black men in the house. Yes. He say part of the reason kids can say yes or no to sex change, mama taken out of the mix. Oh yeah. Daddy's being removed. Yeah, I like I said, I came across this information, man, when I was a Christian years ago. I was and New Testament Israelite. I was teetering between those worlds when I first came into this information. It was very thought-provoking, but I didn't have the tools that I have now to do the research, to do the digging, and over the years I did check out Article 42 in section 666, and there's many different articles, I've seen it, and it is there. It is a part, section 666, and they constantly, in different parts of the article, it talks about 666, and it's always in the section 666. Those are facts. But I failed to talk about it. Like and once I became I talked about it. If I ever talked about this, I talked about it more so when I was a New Testament Israelite, and which stems me to why I am showing this information. I'm showing this information because if I was a New Testament believer, came across this information, in these days and times, would I preach it? Why not the New Testament believers looking and researching the things that they believe in? Many New Testament people would mislead you to believe that the 666 is something that is supposed to come in the future. Mind you, that when that book was written over 2,000 years ago, or well, not quite 2,000, more closely to like 1,700 years ago, maybe even 1,800 years ago, something, those numbers, something like that. When back then, for it to be written and in the manifestation of it today, it would be it would mean prophecy fulfilled, right? It would not mean that this is a prophecy anymore, right? This system has been implemented since 1936, right after, I believe, the stock market crash, Wall Street and all of that crash, the Great Depression, right? For when my grandmother was born in this country, the Social Security card, she was not born with the Social Security card. Neither was her husband, which was my grandfather, Thomas Whitfield Sr., my grandmother, Marion Gobert. Neither one of them, they were born in the 1920s and the 19-teens. And their parents, which were born in the latter part of the 1800s, was no Social Security. And her grandmother, which is Anna Hill and Anna Mae, she named her daughter right after, Willa Mae, right? Anna Hill and Willa Mae. I think Anna Hill was born in like the 1880s. That's my great-great-grandmother. I got a chance to meet them. And they have not had a Social Security card. My grandmother had a Social Security card. She said that she applied for her Social Security card well after she got grown. She didn't even have a usage for the Social Security card until like the 50s, until her children were born. And my grandfather had left, right? Remember he was talking about remember the brother was talking about the daddies being removed? Well, my grandfather had left, right? And then it became a need for her to go and get a Social Security card and all of that. And they gave her this gold card, a gold-plated steel card that had her. So now the first time she had ever had one, she had went through school and everything, without having a Social Security card. That is something that is very, very new. Right? So that would mean that if that is a prophecy, that would be prophecy fulfilled. He said the Bible says 666 is the number of the devil and the man from way back. Oh, yeah, we're going to get off into that. We're going to get all the way off into that, Indigenous Black man. Glad to have you here. And he's talking about I was talking about the area of the Industrial Revolution, Reconstruction, Depression area, like, right, 1936, 1929, 28. My grandmother was born in 1929. So she was born just right before. She was born the same year as Martin Luther King. They was born just right before, the Social Security had implemented the Social Security card. And it was right, like he said, it was in the industrial era. So and it's funny that my grandmother didn't. She's like you said, she never had no need for it. She was full grown, went through high school and all of that. Then got married, then worked, and didn't need a Social Security card. She said she didn't begin to start needing one until after she had. Because then my grandmother, the work that she used to do, she used to be a maiden for white folks. She used to clean after white people, so they would pay her cash. All her life, she had got paid cash, she said she didn't start, she never got paid cash. Even at a time when you needed to fill out application for jobs, my grandmother had always worked for white people. You know, she had always, that's how she made her living, being they maid, cleaning in their homes, almost like, you know, Florence Jefferson or something like that, you know. Yeah, you know. And that's what a lot of black people did back then. You know, the people of the 60s, they were the adults of the 50s and the 60s when racism was hitting hard and hitting real home and hitting home and hitting real, real hard. You know, he say, right, my nana was the same, you know, right. You know, our grandparents, we talking about our grandparents. I am a X generation, Generation X, 51 years of age. And my grandparents, they didn't have social security cards. You know, my mother was the first generation, the baby boomers. You know, they were the first generation to have a social security card implemented in them. I want to go back to the statement where the brother said it was something to go way, way back, right? And I want that on the screen as I go on. I mean, I thank the Lord, hallelujah. I thank the Lord for my guests and my audience. You know, they're very responsive, and I swear it's like you guys are leading, you know, the way from the audience, because it's if though indigenous black men automatically know where I'm going, and because of such, I'm going to leave his comment up because his comment is very next to very relevant to my next slide. Let me share this. Well, before I share it, I got to look it up because I don't have it. I got to Google it. That'll only take a second. I thought I had it up there, but when I looked in my bank, it's not there. Okay, here's a very interesting video. We're going to stop that there. Okay, this is in reference to, this here is for the indigenous black man, for his comment. This here is a compliment to your intelligence and your research. You know, I thought that I was going to be the only person who had came thus far, you know, with, you know, have come across this. So I guess I'm not the only person that have come across this. I'm just wondering, why is it that my New Testament believers, whether they're Israelite, Christian, Muslim, why they're not addressing this? If this is such old information. Allow me to share my screen. You know, yeah. Okay.
Out on sales. That's where we come in. Constant.
My home is here in Mississippi. I've lived in many other places: New York, LA, San Francisco, Chicago. But this place defines me.
But got him when he was 4.5 months old, undernourished, but he had attitude. Got a great walking gait.
No, this is the wrong video. What the hell happened? That ain't it. Exit out of there. Okay. Since it doesn't want to do right. That's not what I was looking for. It's this one video with Morgan Freeman. I don't know. I don't know what the hell going on with my computer, but that's not the video. It's a video with Morgan Freeman going way, way back. He went to the Vatican and he had did some research with some biblical scholars in the Vatican. Here it is. I don't know what the hell is going on. Why it's not showing? Okay. There it goes.
She tells me she has compelling evidence that reveals the identity of the beast. Good morning. So, what exactly do we have here?
Well, I've been looking at some fragments of the book of Revelation.
The book of Revelation,
That's right.
the book of the end of days.
The end of days, the apocalypse of symbolism, but it's also very much a political book and making a political claim about the cause of evil
The cause of evil.
or who's responsible for evil.
So tell me about this coding, because as I understand it, the Antichrist was given a code, so they would never call his name. They would just say it like code.
Well, there has been a lot of debate about what this number, in particular 666, who it refers to. There has also been a argument made for 666 referring to Nero.
Nero was emperor of Rome from 54 to 68 AD, around the time when the first Christians began to arrive in Rome. So how do you make 666 translate to Nero?
When you apply numerical values to the name Kaiser Neron and you add up those numbers, you come to 666.
In ancient Greek and Hebrew, every letter had a corresponding number. If you add up the letters of the name for Emperor Nero, written in Hebrew, Kaiser Neron, the total comes to 666. But Nero is just one of many names that can add up to 666. Kim believes a later copy of the Book of Revelation, found in an archaeological dig in Egypt, confirms the beast is Nero.
One of the interesting things about these fragments is that we've got two different numbers.
What are those letters?
A Chi is a 600, Xi 60, Sigma a 6, 666. This one over here, we have a Chi Iota Sigma 616 with a line over the top.
Why is it
So
different?
you might think that this number destroys the possibility that it could be Nero.
Yes.
What's striking about this is that it may help to confirm the identity of Nero, because this would be the number that we would get if we spelled Nero according to the Latin spelling, Nero Kaiser.
Okay.
Without the N, the letter N represented 50, the number 50. So 666 minus 50, 616. So we've
So
just
we just
gone.
subtract, and we're going to come up with 616, and we have the same guy.
That's right.
I'm so clever.
Okay, I don't know what happened there, but I pushed stop share and it went through. Now I gotta put that on. Okay. What is a good? Okay, so yeah, so so when we look at the evidence, even like the indigenous black man said, he said the Bible says 666 is the number of the name of a man, and he said it go way way back. So we can see that it goes all the way back to the Roman Empire for starters, right? And we have found that when you add up the name of Emperor Nero, right, whether you do it in Greek or in Hebrew, it's going to come up to 666. Greek, maybe even Latin, because the reason I state that is because all of those alphabets were the same. The Phoenician Hebrew alphabet gave birth to the Greek and the Latin alphabet. To prove it to you that the A that we have today is identical to the Hebrew and the Greek Aleph and Alpha. You see? So yeah, this go way, 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 way back. You did way back. And when you add those numbers up, being that they're the same alphabet, how they did mathematics is they add they add up the alphabets, because they didn't have any numbers. The A was 1, the B was 2, the Aleph was 1, the alpha was 1, right? The bet and the beta was 2, that type of thing. So when they did added up the name of Nero, you end up coming to 666. Now, this is under pagan Rome, right? This is under pagan Rome. Now, you're looking at about the 3rd century when Emperor Constantine comes on the scene, right? Emperor Constantine comes on the scene, and what he does is he assumes the title of the Pontiff, the Pontiff Maximus. For that was the emperors of Rome, starting with Julius Caesar. They were the pontiffs of Rome. They were the controlled time, right? And they were the Pontiff Maximus. So when Emperor Constantine conquered Rome, and he brought in Christianity, and he was a German. He conquered Rome as a descendant of the biblical Gomer, right? The Gomerite tribe. He conquered Rome from the Tarshish and Javan, the other Japhethites. Basically, you had a white war, and the pagan Rome got conquered by a new Rome, which adopted Christianity and made it the national religion. Mind you, the old Rome persecuted Christians in the days of Jesus, right? So you're looking at around the 3rd century, Emperor Constantine, the Germans overthrew Rome from within, and they did it by way of Christianity. Plus that they were white, and they could pass for a German if they act right, dressed a certain way, talked a certain way, looked and, that type of thing. And they overthrew Rome from within, and they adopted Christianity. In fact, they took over and dominated Christianity. And the Emperor Constantine became the new Pontifex Maximus. He became also the first Pope of Christianity, right? And the popes, the pontiffs, that's why the Pope right now, he is the pontiff of Rome. And they wear on their hats this word called Vicar Filii Dei. The Vicar. And I see the brother named Vicar's World. You know, he got the word Vicar in there. Vicar Filii Dei. Vicar. You add that up. You add those alphabets up mathematically, because that's not something that we just, this is something that the ancients have known. This is why the brothers say this is something to go way, way back. This is something that the ancients have known for way, way back. Now, I'm no Christian. Therefore, I'm not Roman, right? But I will have to say that if anything fit the description of the 666, it would have to be today. It would have to be the American government and the Social Security system, because, you know, back in the day, what this system have done, I'm gonna show you the purpose of this system. It tracks people. You see, it was made to track people all around the world. See, there was times where like say here in there were times where, like, my great grandfather, he would kill a white man, but because he was a Mason, you know, because they would do things like have his body in a coffin and ship him up north. You know what I'm saying? To where, you know, these are the things Black people from dominating, and any people dominate in this world, because you're being tracked, you know. Whereas here in the United States, for a long, long time, if not, still not, the Muslims in the Muslim world doesn't have a Social Security card. So therefore, when they come here to the United States, many of them would kill Black people, you know, say they accuse them of stealing and robbing, you know, their stores, and they would kill Black people, and they would flee the country and go right back to where they came. It never happened to them. And that's because they are not one, they at the time were not one of the 130 nations that had this tracking device that you call a Social Security card. I want to share my screen real quick, and I want to show y'all something. Indigenous Black man say, take your time, brother. Good build. I thank you, brother. I thank you. Vicar World. You know, you have that in your name right there. It's called Vicar. The Vicar Filii Dei. Let me address some of the comments right here. He said, converted the Roman Empire to Christianity. Yes, he did. He converted the pagan Rome to Christianity. He said the voice of God on earth. That's right. He said that's what the Vicar is. It's the voice of God on the earth. He sits, basically, he's sitting in the place of Jesus until Jesus comes. And the reality is that they created, this is why Christianity, this is when the beast, right? Because the beast had always been symbolic in the Old Testament for Gentile nations. And it was the beast, the Gentile nation, who have used Christianity to hijack Christianity to rule and to dominate the world. Basically, they're sitting as the God of this earth, right? And the Vicar, as the Vicars of this earth, the whole race. How do we know this? Because the very word God itself goes back to Odin. You know, goes back to a warlike warmonger, a tribal chieftain, you know, a warmonger, a guy who waged war, you know, and what war was they waging? They was the Gutian Wars, where they was coming in the Persia and China, you know, and India and Egypt and Israel and Babylon. When these were all indigenous, it was these Gutians who came in and usurped and interpolated themselves into those societies and toppled them the same way that they did the Roman Empire. The same way, the same way they did the Roman Empire. And the last of this is when that I have on record is when the Gutian Anglo-Saxon used this same thing to overthrow the Roman Catholicism. They used these religions by way to dominate and to rule the world. You know, there's something here that I want to share this, right? I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this is from the Social Security website itself. And this is, you know, and I got a whole lot to say on this, but I want to get the important stuff out the way, the evidence, you know, the documentation. I want to get all of that stuff out the way, and then we can just have a free-flowing conversation. Can y'all see this? All right. This is, I'm going to put it over here and make it big. Okay. This is the Social Security Office of Retirement and Disability Policy. This is the story of the Social Security number. It says the use of the Social Security number, the SSN, has expanded significantly since its inception in 1936. Created merely to keep track of the earnings history of U.S. workers for Social Security entitlement and benefits computation purposes. It has come to be used as a nearly universal identifier. It has come to be used as a nearly universal identifier because you have all of the Gentile nations, 130 of them, all the European Common Market, the United Nations, all of those, Spain, England, all of Norwegian, all of those European nations of Europe, of European descent. Now the Africans ain't came up with this mess. The Arabs ain't came up with this mess. The Chinese didn't come up with this, right? And that's why you have now what is being formed BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and I think Spain, all backing up out of this system. That those are countries that you don't deal with this Social Security tracking system, right? Because it has nearly come to be used as nearly a universal identifier. Assigned at birth, the Social Security enables government agencies to identify individuals in their records and business to track an individual's financial information. You're tracking a lot more than that. You know, you're tracking his business, which means whatever it is that he does. You know, it tracks more than your financial information because if you go to court, they use it. If you go to prison, it follows you there, right? You ain't making no money. Your finances stopped in the penitentiary. So why is your Social Security number tracking you in the penitentiary? This article explores the history and meaning of the Social Security and the Social Security card, as well as the Social Security Administration SSA's SSN master file, generally known as the numerant. I think that's that number that's on the back of the other number that's in red on the back of your card. The article also traces the historical expansion of the Social Security use and the steps SSA has taken to enhance Social Security number integrity. Now, you can all go to this site because this is a very, very, very long talk about the crafting of it, right? And in 1936, it said that, the Social Security number was created in 1936 for the sole purpose of tracking earnings histories of United States workers, comma, for use in determining Social Security benefit entitlement for computing benefit levels. Since then, the use of the Social Security has expanded substantially. Today, the Social Security number may be the most commonly used numbering system in the United States, not only the United States, but the world. As of December 2008, the Social Security Administration has issued over 450 million original Social Security numbers, and nearly every legal resident of the United States has one. The Social Security's numbers vary universality has led to its adaptation throughout government and the private sector as a chief means of identifying and gathering information about an individual. And we know that according to the article, Title 666, Social Security Code, Title 40, Article 42, Section 6 of the Social Security Code, we know that you will be licensed. You have to have a license to pretty much get money, permission to get money. You have to have a Social Security card. You have to have, and they're trying to make it to where you have to have a license and permission to even make money. Meaning that the Social Security number is not even enough. You have to have licenses, because you have to remember that prior to the Social Security Administration and there was no bar system, right? Meaning that anybody could have just up and practiced law. You know what I'm saying? Ah, man, I'm missing out on some of these good comments. Let us look here in the comment section. We got this X up out there. Pow. Let's get into some of these comments here. He said they introduced the pagan practices to cause the children of the Most High to fall. Very much so. Very much so. That's the whole thing. With this tracking, like I said, the Arabs over here, they were shooting us down, and to defeat being judged or tossed in their prison system, these people jump back on a plane, go back over to the Middle East, and go back to living their life. You know what I'm saying? Without having to be judged by Europeans or any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let's get some more of these comments here. Man, he got a whole bunch of good comments. He say same thing done to the Shaka Zulu, yeah. The universal tracking number. Talking about BRICS. The S in BRICS is South Africa. That's what it was. I said Spain. Correction taken. Shaka Zulu. Yes. So we talk about this tracking system, man. Now we see God didn't do this, right? Man has done this, and this is all false flag, because this is not done. This stuff has been written. They know what they're doing. This all false flag. They created this stuff, but they created it for dominance. You understand? They created it to rule the world. I mean, and inside of this system, you got to understand that this system, this whole country is a Freemasonic hub. It's set up so that the Europeans can stay dominating and keep ruling. This doesn't mean that this is a biblical prophecy being fulfilled. It's false flag. Europeans has created this. But it can be looked at as biblical prophecy being fulfilled. I just don't want to look at it as biblical prophecy being fulfilled, because if I have to look at it as biblical prophecy being fulfilled, then I have to charge all my brothers and sisters who running around here in Jesus' name not dealing with this issue. I have to deal with I have to deal with these Christians and these New Testament Israelites deeming me to hell for not believing in Jesus, when a requirement according to the Bible for the belief in Jesus is that you do not accept the mark of the beast. And I'm wondering, why didn't your research, why didn't the Holy Ghost, why didn't they Jesus, why didn't God inform them of this information? This is a hard blow to Christianity and New Testament Hebrewism. All of you that are thumping that Bible have accepted this mark. Myself, as an Old Testament believer, I don't worry about that type of stuff, because there's nothing in my belief system that tells me that I am doomed, damned for taking this mark, right? Because the Old Testament, what the only thing it tells us is that we have been captive, that we're slaves. And we, as African Americans and Hebrews, knew firsthand that we were slaves longer than anybody. So, I mean, it's just a part of our reality. But to you Christians and you New Testament people, that means you people have accepted this mark of the beast, man. Which means that all of that talking about Jesus and shit, all of that Bible thumping y'all doing it's futile. Vicar said, there has always been a way to track us all the way back in Abraham's day to the children of Israel in Egypt. They count and watch numbers of certain children to track. Now, what I want to tell you something about, up until around the 2000s, right? I'll take that back. I'll say up until about 1990, every black person that was born, their fifth number was an even number. And this is how Europeans were able, they knew what race you was simply by the codification of your social security number. My fifth number was a 2. I knew this. Like I said, like my man said in the video, that man, this is stuff that we have been knowing a long, long time, and people have talked about it, but they just brushed it off. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't nothing we could do about it. But it is something for you to tell these Christians and these New Testament Bible thumpers to shut the fuck up. You have been succumbed. Your Jesus, your Bible dooms you for taking that beast. We have been taking the mark of the beast. We've known this It's the minute we have got conquered, we have taken the mark of the beast. We have taken on his identity. The mark is something that's on you to identify you. It marks you. It identifies you. It's an identifier. And the beast has always been the Gentile nation. So we as Israelites have always been preaching that we have been conquered by our enemies. And this dispensation of time, it just happens to be the Anglo-Saxon, you're a Gentile, son of Gomer, seed of Japheth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but this is something that Christians and New Testament people have to deal with. Wouldn't y'all say so? Vicar, indigenous black man, what y'all say about that? I mean, a Christian, I mean, that means that according to your book, like the brother Emerson said, that we have always been tracked. We as Israelites have known that we have been tracked and we have been succumbed. We don't have a nation. We know this. It's not a smack in the face. It's just an acceptance of a reality. And it's acceptance of a reality that these Christians have to take, because the mark of the beast is the mark and the identifier of the Gentile nation, flat out. And we have a Morgan Freeman going all the way back to the Vatican, having biblical scholars breaking down these fragments, meaning that they know that she's in the Vatican, so she knows the history. She's in the Vatican, so she knows the language. She can easily decode that stuff. Yes, it's good to be aware, Emerson. Yeah, so this is, if it's nothing else, it's a blow to Christianity. It's a blow to Christianity, and it's a blow to any Bible thumping person, because that means that every person in America has taken that mark, which means, and I'm saying that ain't even supposed to be a part of the prophecy. Jesus supposed to have came and taken his people up out of here, or he's supposed to have done something to protect or to stop his people, right, from receiving this mark. He said, I am Christian, and he said, I am Christian, and you give man too much credit. 666 become our number when Adam and Eve fell. Well, I mean, I'm not giving man too much credit. I'm giving the book of Revelations credit that talk about the taking of this 666. Back then, before 1936, it was the number 666 wasn't forced on you by a government or a religion. You know what I'm saying? The religious society of Christianity is allowing you to accept the 666 by ignoring it and not talking about it, or acting like this information is nothing. Like how you're saying with the 666. And I appreciate you, indigenous black man. I really do. I appreciate the dialogue. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that when we're talking about, if 666 was given to us by the fall of Adam or whatnot, I'm saying that 666 was given to us by God. This 666 here is not given to us by God. This 666 is the one that's planted in your head and sealed in your forehead and planted in your hand. This one is given to us by the beast, which is the Gentile nations. He said God didn't want man to know death or sin. Man, Adam and Eve chose their path. Oh yeah, but what about a Christ, according to Christianity, is the second Adam, according to Christianity. Now, I mean, I can see what you said, and that's good, What you're doing is going to the Old Testament understanding, like I do, of dealing with the mark of the beast, and that's really the best answer that a Christian can have, you know. But he still has to deal with the idea that this 666 of Adam Day is not the 666 of Christ Day. You know what I'm saying? Because he also has to deal with that, because of the laws and tenets of his religion, that Adam did fall and man took the 666, but Christ supposed to have came and took all of that away, because now Christ is the second Adam. You know, I'm just summarizing it. You know, I'm not articulating it the proper way that it should be, but you know, we dealing with Adam. You know, Jesus is supposed to be the second Adam, and Jesus is supposed, or Yeshua, right? Jesus, Yahweh Shai. He's supposed to be Yah's salvation. And according to the book of Revelation, you are supposed to be saved from that mark, and you are not to accept that second mark, not the first mark that was given by Yah, right, after the fall of Adam, but the second mark that was given by the Shaitan. You know, one thing I do notice about the Old Testament is that, you know, God do something. God tell tell Adam to throw down the snake, throw down the rod turned into a snake, and then the devil turned around and he imitated. You know, Satan, well, I'm gonna throw down the snake, the rod, it's gonna turn into two snakes. You know, and I'm gonna do it to make it appear though as that's a cheap magician's trick. Anybody could have did it. You know, to try to discredit God. You know, and that's what the devil does. The devil, he created this second mark of the first is 666, but that will be considered a mark given by Yah, right? This 666 here, that is of the Social Security, is a mark given by the Gentile, a mark given by the beast. You know, I should have came more prepared, but it'll give me more content. I think that tomorrow or over the week, throughout the week, I'm gonna do a show about the beast that talks about the Gentile nations and how the Gentile nations were referred to as the beast. He said, this is our colonizers using methods of their fathers, the devil, from the past. Bingo. You know, and that is a fact. You know, personally, as a human being, there's nothing to be worried about, because anything that man make, another man can break. You know, I don't care what it is. I don't care. I'm not fearful of nothing that Europeans or Satan has created. You know, it's nothing to be really fearful of. But as a Christian, you know, one who's, like you said, that I'm relying on man. No, I'm relying on the New Testament, something that man has wrote. And that is, man wrote that. You know, man certainly wrote the New Testament, and that's why I don't follow it. You know, but according to the New Testament, people who pushing that has to deal with the fact that they did accept this Gentile identifier, aka mark of the beast. This is Black Man said, nothing. There's nothing new under the sun. I don't know why my okay, there it is. It says nothing new under the sun. The Vicar tells them big facts. He said the devil is a liar and the father of it. Now, as an Old Testament Israelite, one who is bringing you Yah's salvation, the salvation is in the fact that you just ain't got to worry about this, because we have been conquered we didn't get conquered yesterday, and neither did we get conquered in 1936. We as Hebrews and Israelites and African Americans, you know, we have been conquered ever since the days of Christ, you know, ever since the Roman Jewish wars. You know, we put up good revolts like the Bar Kokhba revolt, where they chased us out of Israel into the tips of northern Africa. You know, I'm talking about deep in Africa. I'm talking about like as far as Morocco and Spain and Tunisia, where we actually was fighting them. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, that was, people fail to realize that that was Roman territory ever since Rome had dominated during the Punic Wars. So the Israelites was running into Africa, but it was still up under Roman jurisdiction. You know, and it's still relevant, you know, because those were the people who created this system, and they've been tracking us ever since then. You understand what I'm saying? Say hi to my sister Chantel. Yeah. You know, that happens, you know, that mean I'm not sheeshing nothing. You sheesh. Oh. Yeah, but that happens, you know. They like to interrupt my shows. They really don't. They really not spiritual people. You know what I'm saying? So they really don't care to hear this type of information. But it's really good. It's really good information. It's really good information because the idea that Satan has the victory is a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like the Vicar said in this statement right here, the idea that Satan has the victory is a lie. You know, that card, that chipping system, none of that stuff gives the Shaitan the victory. It just don't. It just gives him the illusion that he has the victory. It gives him power and control for certain. It said the Hebrew Israelites who lived throughout the attacks from Titus and etc. Oh, way back. This is nothing new, you know. But the problem is that the New Testament would make it appear as something new. You know what I'm saying? It appear, you know, as a fulfillment of prophecy. And if it just is that, the New Testaments have to deal with that. You know, I'm an Old Testament believer, and like I said, I've been knowing that my people have been captive ever since the days of Egypt. What you say, many Israelites ran into Egyptian captivity. That's right. You know, I've been knowing that we've been captives ever since the days of Egypt. And to be quite honest with you, that's just the earliest records that we have. You know, captivity and slavery went on way before that. Yeah, I love my counterbossum, y'all. I'm not no Christian, and there's nothing against Israelite law, you know, in dealing with the herbs of the earth. Hold on for a second. Yeah. I used to trip out about them interrupting the shows and stuff like that, but I mean, hell, it ain't these shows. It ain't like my show. If my show don't like it, they got to deal with it. I mean, I deal with it. They got to deal with it. If they don't like it, then hey, send us some monies, help me promote this show, get this show off the ground, and let this show pay for me to be able to get the fuck up out of here. Other than that, I'm gonna stay here and take care of my mother. The best thing for me to do in this world is to take care of my mother. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I do here. I'm here taking care of my mom. You know, I do got my own little crib, and I wish I was there. But if I had the monies, you know what I'm saying? You know, I wouldn't be doing this. I would pay for professionals, you know, to come here 24 hours. There's professionals that comes, you know, but they don't come 24 hours. You know, shit, if we can get this YouTube popping, I can get some of them YouTube and TikTok checks. then maybe I can get the fuck up on out of here, you know. But until then, that's what we have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna see me and my sister fight, and we've been fighting ever since we was fucking kids. We might cuss each other the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? I still love her, and I'm just gonna let them. It's gonna be what it is. You know, I'm just trying. I have to do that because I'm not acting bigger than what I am. You know, I'm not acting like I got everything under control in my mom's home. This is my mom's home, and she's so stubborn. You know what I'm saying? That pretty much her life depends on me. You know, I could put her in a nursing home, but then I won't have a mom. You know what I'm saying? My mother, she won't live without me. Pretty much, that's pretty much what the fuck it is. So, and I'm giving her her desires. You know what I'm saying? She want, you know, if I'm your lifeline, then baby, hell, I'm just gonna keep you here. You know, because hey, once your mother's gone, man, you know they gone, brother. You know, and I honor my mother. I honor them. You know, and that's what gives me the blessing. You know, I mean, I look at it on the bright side. It gives me the blessing to come here to do my podcast because I was working in a factory before my mother got sick, and the Most High has set it up to where I'm able to get paid. You know, so I mean, I makes money doing it too, and I don't make nowhere near the money that I was doing in that factory because that factory I was working like 70 hours a week. I wasn't making a whole lot of money, like $16, $17 an hour. But I mean, it was a lot of money considering that you put in all of them hours. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when you've been doing it for so long, you know that those devils are cheating you, and that you know, like I said, you know, you're worth much more than that. But that being stated, you know, like I said, the pay increase has dropped, but it created a venue for me to come here, you know, to come on this platform and it allows me to be able to share information with my people. I have a lot of free time, you know, time that I didn't have, you know, to sit here and kick the info with you. You know, so that's what it does. I mean, I think I got some more information up here. Let me see. What else I got here? Yeah, all of this information here, we done been through all of that. Oh, I got one more thing that I want to show with y'all, and then I can wrap up my presentations. I don't want to leave no stone unturned. You know, just to solidify, you know, that you're going to have that Social Security number. You know, and then nothing can be done about it. Your Jesus ain't gonna stop it. Your religion ain't gonna stop it, right? Did I share it well? Okay, cool. You know, your religion is not going to stop it. You know, this beast here is serious about marking you all. And these are facts that we got to realize. We got to realize that we are being marked. We are being tracked. You know, so by way of this beastly marking and tracking system and their Freemasonry and their clandestine groupings of each people, you know what I'm saying, and each other, you know, and secret societies. This is what secures their dominance in this world. This is the mark of the beast or not. Employers need not accommodate religious-based refusal to provide Social Security numbers. In the Yeagers versus First Energy Generation Corps, the Sixth Circuit recently affirmed the dismissal of a discrimination lawsuit brought by an individual who claimed that the First Energy Generation Corps had illegally failed to accommodate his sincerely held religious beliefs. Smoke that over. Well, I can't smoke it over because it ain't lit, but I will. he said had failed to accommodate his sincerely held religious beliefs. And what were those beliefs? That having the social security number or any identification number for that matter will cause him to have the mark of the beast, which his religion prohibits. Mr. Yeager is a fundamentalist Christian who disavowed his social security number when he was 18 years old. He applied for an internship position with First Energy, but the company refused to hire him after he refused to provide a social security number. Federal tax law requires employers to collect and provide the social security number of their employees. This decision reaffirms the well-established rule that the state and federal law generally requires an employer to reasonably accommodate an employee's sincerely held religious belief. I think I read that wrong. This decision reaffirms the well-established rule that while state and federal law generally requires an employer to reasonably accommodate an employee's sincerely held religious beliefs, the employer need not provide an accommodation that violate federal statute. And the federal statute is in compliance with all of the ancient techniques of dominating the children of Israel. And by dominating the children of Israel, whoever dominates the children of Israel, this is why China is looking forward and trying to invite, it's just like China is doing pretty much what England has done with the Americans during the war with the slaves. England is, hey, I'll offer you this, you join us on this side of the war. Everybody is vying after the black man because the Israelite, if you understand that Israel, Yah-Sha'al, Yah, he, Shar, rule, govern, El, right? Allah, El, Allah, right? He that rules as Allah, he that rules for Allah, he that rules with Allah, he that rules with El, Elohim, Eloheinu, Elohika, El Elyon. Basically, Israel is the vicar of God on this earth. And anybody who dominates him taking the position as supreme ruler, as God. And these are the facts. These are the facts that my religious Christians and brothers and sisters, whether they're Jewish, Muslim, Israelite, are failing to deal with. I don't deal with being an Israelite on a religious level. I deal with being an Israelite on not even a spiritual level. I deal with it on a realistic and a historical level. I deal with being an Israelite on the level is that's my identifier. That I am marked by Yah. That is my identifying marker. And that's why on my social security card and my social security number, I make sure that my name, Yasha ben Israel, is on that. You see, I took my power back from this European, and I've been fighting with this European for my power for the longest. But to be quite honest with you, I live as an Israelite 24/7. My name is a Hebrew name from beginning. I took my power back. You understand? I took my sovereignty back. No, that doesn't mean not that I am sovereign to the European. No, but I'm sovereign now because I understand what's going on. There's so many people in this world who do not know the information. You understand? Who do not know the information that we are spewing out here. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of information. You know what I'm saying? The chat said, "Hey, Chantel, they gave you a speak, a shout out." She off of her room. She don't give a damn. She in that room, man, her own damn business. When she go in that room and shut that door, any the solipsism of women is something else. They can't think outside of themselves. You understand? So when she shut that door, anything on the other side of that door, the whole world could be nuked. It don't even matter. What only matter to her is what's going on in that goddamn room. Yeah, but that's what it is. We have been tracked. This new system. The 1936 thing. It substantiates and it solidifies this new world order that the elites have been trying to push. You remember when George Bush, you know what I'm saying? You remember when George Bush Sr., always talked about this new world order, and how we have entered into a new world order. Well, the old world order was ran by Moorish people, black people. I'm not going to be this pro-Israelite guy. I'm going to say Israelites ruled the whole world. Like everybody were Israelites. Israelites ruled the whole world because we marked the whole world. We marked the whole world because they understood our religion. Once they read our Bible and read our story, it marked them, and it solidified our place in history and in their minds. You know what I'm saying? We have what's called a saga, a legacy, and that's powerful. Just like the song, no matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. They can't take away my talent. They can't take away my knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Today they're trying to infiltrate knowledge, especially the knowledge of Black history and Black people. They're trying to infiltrate that stuff very hard. You understand? Because it's all about dominance. You understand? Since he can't claim to be Israel, he can claim to be the Vicar by way of Christianity. You know what I'm saying? And it is Christianity that I call a whiteianity. Judah Nash call it Caucasoidanity. You know what I'm saying? And we have on this channel, I think I uploaded a video. No, I didn't. It's on my TikTok. I'm going to upload it over here. Where, we have white people telling you that whiteness and Christianity is one and the same. You know what I'm saying? Why is it that when you go to church, you got to wear a suit and a tie, and that's considered Christ-like? Jesus didn't dress like that. Or the attire of anybody in the church, from the Catholic Church to the Pentecostals, to the Protestants, to the Jehovah's Witnesses, the Mormons. Christ didn't dress like none of these people. He didn't live like none of these people. But these people are telling you that they're Christ-like, and they're nothing like Christ. They don't look like Christ. They don't talk like Christ. They don't walk like Christ. They don't think like Christ. They don't even quote the words of Christ. Most of them quote the words of the Apostle Paul. So they're not Christ-like. What they have done was assumed the position of the Vicar, and this is what gives them the manifest destiny and the authority to rule the world by way of Jesus Christ. Jesus is their shield and buckler. They can smoke dope. I'm talking about hard dope. This is an herb. See? Marijuana is an herb, the cannabisum of the scriptures. But they can smoke crack, methamphetamines. I'm talking about things that make you psychotic. If this made me psychotic, you better thank God for it, because before I ever touched this, I didn't have any of the knowledge that I have. Methamphetamines, shooting shit in their veins, drinking poisons. I'm talking about things that are not from the earth. Anything that comes from this earth, you know what I'm saying? I hate to say it, but you got drugs that come from this earth, like your opiates and your cocaines. That stuff comes from this earth. But you got your methamphetamines that are straight chemicals, right? You know, at some point, anything medical, the medical society have used everything at some point that come from this earth. But now with pharmacia, they got chemicals that we're projecting into our bodies. You know what I'm saying? But Jesus wouldn't allow that, because what I'm saying is that Jesus didn't do that. Jesus was a healer. He wasn't taking pharmacia to heal people. But what I'm saying is that you're using your Christianity to establish white dominance, a new world order. This is the new world, the one world religion that the book of Revelations preached about, because the original Christianity were all black people. Look up the African synods. Go on my channel, and I got a video about it, about the African synods, about Tertullian and St. Augustine, and the churches of Ethiopia. These were the first churches. The Bible that you read right now was not canonized in Rome, but canonized at the Conference of Hippo in Africa, where black people who follow Christianity upheld the laws of God. They honored the Sabbath. They didn't eat pork. They honored their mother and their fathers. We have an Israelite masquerade over there in the Lion's Den who called himself by you know who. They have wished death upon my mother. These people have tried to shame me for honoring my mother. See, that's satanic. That's not Christ-like. And what this new world religion has did was allow you to do all type of ungodly and filthiness in the name of Christ, and all I got to do is say, Jesus, forgive me. This is ridiculous. And this is their excuse for accepting this mark of the beast. And not only is they accepting it, they're pushing it and propelling it forward. All of your churches, everybody in there pay tithes, they work, they got social security numbers, they click up, they go to the church, they give 10% of that money. Is untaxed. They give it to the church, who is now 501c3. Now it has another beastly identifying number. It's all a system. You know what I'm saying? It's all a system. But that being that, I just wanted to share that. What anybody else out there got anything they want to say before I close this on out? I'd like to thank you all for being here. I'd like to thank Indigenous Black Man and Emerson Vicar World. You are the Vicar, Emerson. You did. The African Americans are the real Vicar of the world. There is no other nation known to God than Israel. God said, out of all the nations on the planet, Israel is the only one that I have known. And that is who we are marked by. We're not marked by the beast. We are captive to the beast. We don't believe in Jesus. So, what kind of religion is going to have me damned? What kind of God is going to have me born damned? I mean, if that is so, and the New Testament is right, y'all are born damned. Because as we read right there in the history of the Social Security card, it said this is something that's given to you at birth. But you ain't even got a chance to accept it like the New Testament. The New Testament make it though this is something that, look, you're going to accept it or not. Like you had a choice. You see? The New Testament made it as though you have a choice. Now you can throw away your Social Security card and your Social Security number. You can give it back. But then now you're going to have to live off the land. And at some point, you're going to become outside of, basically, they're going to set you up to where you're going to be in Guantanamo Bay or in some damn federal penitentiary, or just they're going to try to find some kind of way to get you on out the way. You know what I'm saying? This is for this reason here that people have tried the Europeans, the militia, started the sovereign movement. The sovereign movement comes from white militia people, and the Moors over the years have adopted it. But these people were people, I mean, this stuff that we're talking about today is nothing new. And this, like I said, it's that sovereignty, that stuff that Polite knew and was out here pushing. You know what I'm saying? It's that sovereignty shit, that was created by Europeans to counter this so-called mark of the beast. But I mean, if you go and look at the history of the people who have rejected this number, and seeing what the things that America had in store for these people, America made these people life a living hell. It should be to where, okay, I don't accept the beast, then you just, fend for yourself out here. But America going to add insult to injury. Because she don't want nobody walking around her land, which is actually God's land, or even the planet that she can't control. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just how your Gentile beasts work. Certainly, it is the mark of the beast. It is the identifier of the Gentile nation. No doubt about that. But that being that, I'm going to get on out of here. We've been going for an hour and a half here. I'm going to have to do some work. I'll do it in the morning. I got some... that's how I get a lot of my view. My channel, out of all of these thousands of subs that I have, I should have a lot of views. I should easily wake up to 300, 400, 500 views, and that don't happen. In order for me to get views, I have to go and share it on Instagram, and I have to share it on TikTok, and I have to share it on the many different groups in Facebook. And that's how I get my number. So, I am a man, what do you say? I am the one crying in the wilderness, If people don't flock to me, I have to still stand out there and push the buck, So for any of y'all who come over here listening to me and supporting me naturally, organically, man, I pray that the Most High, man, allow these words and these lessons to touch you and to bless your life. You know what I'm saying? Because that mark of the beast shit is nothing to be afraid of, man. I mean, they try to make it. I mean, the white man has been had control. I mean, and that's just what the fuck it is, And until African Americans unite, the Yahweh Eloheinu Yahweh Ahad, until we understand the words of the Shema, we will not understand that our strength is in our unity. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter whether you've had the mark or not. You know, they have made it. They have made laws where it's illegal for you to even congregate. You know what I'm saying? For real. So y'all better take advantage of brothers kicking black power, black knowledge, black wisdom. You know, because that's all I want. I'm a black man, and I seek to empower me and my race and my people. And it's imperative that I do so because my people are at the bottom of the barrel. That being stated, let me stop this share screen. And I want to tell you all that I love you all dearly. I love you all dearly. I am glad that you all have come over here and supported my channel. I need you all to go over to TikTok. I'm over on TikTok now, putting content over there, and we getting shitload. I probably only been over there like 3 weeks, and I probably got 20,000-30,000 views probably already. You know what I'm saying? The views, I get way more views. Even, just you could throw up anything and you get 200-300 views, just like that, like how YouTube should do. But there's a jail over there too. You know, they have, I have to dig myself up out of the 300 view jail. And that's going to come by making better content. Some say that I may even have to start a new TikTok page because I've been over there on TikTok for years. I just had a page that's been defunct. You know, I threw up something and I wasn't interested in TikTok because TikTok had it, that 60-second thing, And there's no way that we can get this type of dialogue and this type of information thoroughly out where it can be understood in 60 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Now they got it where they got the 10 minute thing. You can do it for like 10 minutes or so. And that's how it's been. That's how it's been. So I've been over there on TikTok. Come over there on TikTok. I'm gonna find some kind of way to put this over there too. But let me get on out of here. It's kind of late. I'm out of here. It's time for me to bounce, y'all. May Yahweh bless you all.